G'day folks, I'm the Coffee Bush Kid in Central Vic, and I have had the baton passed to me by Josh from Chasing Gold Australia because Gadsy the buckshot prospector has started a series on what's in my prospecting kit. I'm going to be going through my panning gear, of which I do, but not a great deal of filming, but I have done it. Then I'm going to go into my gold detecting stuff. We'll talk technical stuff with the editor, and then we'll finish on the coin and relic gear that I use. So, enough yabber, let's go have a look at the panning gear.
Yeah.
So as far as the panning gear goes, it's a fairly easy setup. It appears I have multiple pans these days, but I did buy a set of Minelab Pro Gold kit. So that comes with a 15-inch pan, 10-inch pan, snuffer bottle, all sorts of bits and pieces, and a bag to carry it in, plus the classifier. But I do have a couple of classifiers. I also have a couple of snuffer bottles. I've got some crevicing tools, one handmade and one as a tiger claw. Speaking of tiger stainless steel, I also use the tiger snake. Now that's my little trowel for getting into the crevices with, but because it's got a nice long handle, I actually use that as a pry bar as well. So if you're breaking up the bedrock, trying to get in under a couple of stones, this is a great double purpose little thing. I also then go to the bait pump. So you can see the old yabby pump there. This one I've made out of some PVC pipe, bought at a local hardware. Now, local hardwares, they're like muscles. If you don't use them, you lose them. So maybe don't go to the big shed, but go to the littler shed. So, another yabby pump. Need a bucket, because you'll put your classified stuff in there. And of course, to stop the water getting up your legs, and also the leeches, set of gumboots. So that's all my panning gear that I use. It can be bought very, very cheaply. Great little hobby to do. I actually really prefer 10-inch pan, crevicing tools, go out, have some fun. But now, let's have a look at what my gold detecting gear is. Alrighty, well here we are with my detecting gear. I run the GPX 6000, the Minelab Beast there. There are multiple coils you can get for it. I'm not going to go into the nth degree for those. I will predominantly use the 12x7 nugget finder coil. If I am hanging around a quartz reef, I actually do really like the 10x5. Thank you, Guy. And I also have them, all my coils, on separate lower shafts, so it's a very quick changeover. The next thing you do what you need when you're going for gold is a scoop. Now, this is recycling at its best. That was an orange juice container, I think, that I cut down. Every time the end gets a little bit grotty, I'll just trim that off and we're off and running again. I've got a gold container. This one holds around my neck. Notice how big it is, ever the optimist. I also have a smaller one. That one is heavy because it is full of lead shot, of which I find lots of. For digging wise, you can see there I have a selection of Walco picks. I've got the mini wood, I've got the medium, and I've got the jumbo. Note, all of them have magnets on the end. Very, very helpful for when you're digging. Now, what are you going to store your detector in? I just store it in a detector bag there. This one's also got pockets. It's from Double D. I've got my other coils, the 11 and the 14 in there. Now, this is the important thing, and I'm going to touch more on this later, but that's a fines pouch. I put my lead in there, I put my scoop in there, I have a bottle of water there that I just throw in. It's easy, it's got its own belt, just clip it round your waist, off you go. That is what I use when I go out gold detecting. Well, the next thing we're going to discuss is the tech side of things. People do ask me what I use for filming on. The phone. So that's all I use. It's an iPhone, pretty good. Sometimes of late now, I've been taking it out of its cover and I've been using a little jobby. Not a big jobby, just a little one. This is like a selfie stick. You can put it all extends out, that's great. But if I am desirous of the fact, it also acts as a tripod as well. So I have used that in my gold filming when I went out with the 6000 and the 12x7. But most of the time these days, I've just been holding it, talk to the camera, away we go. Now, that's what I use. Because the other important part, I must say, of the Coffee Bush Kid channel is in fact the editor. Viv, my wife. She is the technical wizard that makes all this happen. As I usually say, I find and film, she edits and sprinkles magic to make me look good. So we're going to have a look at what she does to produce the Coffee Bush Kid YouTube channel.
G'day folks, I'm the editor. I'm Viv and I'm the one behind the scenes. So the Coffee Bush Kid channel is in fact a team. Andrew does all of his own filming when he's out on his digs, but sometimes if we're having an extended day, I'll go along and I'll shoot some B-roll or some footage of him and the like. So here's the gear that we use in adjunct to Andrew's phone. I have a Canon 6D Mark II, and that's what I use to do all the close-up shots of the finds at the end. Sometimes I'll shoot some footage on it if I'm feeling creative. I'm a big DJI fan, so we have, this is my favourite, the DJI Pocket 2, and as it says, it fits in your pocket, and that's why it's one of my favourites. I have a DJI Osmo gimbal for the phone, if I want to shoot on the phone. The Pocket comes with its own microphone, but we also have a DJI twin mic set, one of which I have on me right now, so you can't see everything that's in there right now, but it's a DJI twin mic set. And then if we are having an extended day, we'll need to charge up some of that DJI stuff and potentially a detector or two. And we have a Blue Eddy EB3A unit, which is great for charging all those things in the field. And then when I get home, the software that I use is DaVinci Resolve, and I'm using that on either my Mac laptop or my iMac. So that's about it for our technical what's in my bag section.
Well, here we are at what's all my relic stuff. So, first things first, Minelab Manticore. Weapon of choice, that's what I'm using these days, especially in conjunction with the Mate coil, the M8. These do come with the standard 11-inch coil. You can also get an M15 as well for way covering much ground. So that's that. We'll get that one out the way now. Now, hats. You can see that one. I will use this style of hat if I'm wearing headphones. So if I'm out with the 6000 or the Manticore and it's a bit blowy or whatever reason I've got headphones on, this is the hat I wear because they can go over. If I am being bothered by flies, I will wear the bucket hat in conjunction with the fly net. So that'll go over my head and keep me sane. But my usual hat that I would be wearing these days is a good broad brim hat. Keeps the sun off, makes you look fairly cool as well. So that's the hat side of things. Safety gear, gaiters. As soon as I see skinks on the veranda, I start wearing those. As soon as I open up the back door of the ute, one foot goes up, first gaiter goes on, second gaiter goes on. That is just the standard sequence of putting gear on. The next thing that I will grab is the old Profind 40. Now that's the pinpointer that I use. I actually twink. Have a lanyard on that as well. I bought that over in England because the last thing you want to do is leave your pinpointer out in the bush. Now, these are not a rechargeable job. They use 9-volt batteries, and everyone goes, oh no, but if you've got 2 9-volt rechargeable batteries, you have one in there, and oh, in your fines pouch you've got a second one, so that when you're 2k away from your vehicle and it goes flat, you've already got that. You go home, you put the flat one on charge, away you go. Now, speaking of all that stuff, the next thing is the Tiger Digger. I love me the Tiger Digger. I think it's great. It's my preferred hand digger of choice. That is on my searcher fines pouch. This is the next thing that I'm going to go into. It's got a couple of pockets there, and in these pockets, these are my go-to things. That is my nail brush that you will see me use all the time. That is a Ripper Little brush. It is a stiff, short bristled nail brush. That will clean up most things. If I'm a bit wary of what I found, I don't want to potentially damage it with brushing, we have the toothbrush, which, yeah, I don't think it was this one that I used this morning to clean the teeth. Anyway, we've got those, and I also have a longer bristled, softer brush. So it's in between the two. So those are my brushes that I will use. I will also use a bit of squirty. Oh, here, there's a tractor. That's what I use for cleaning up my silvers. Do not put water on your coppers or your brassy stuff, because it'll just take the patina off like you wouldn't believe. Again, in this zipper pouch here, I've got my battery. I've also got a magnifying glass, and it appears I also have some cable ties in there as well. The other piece of kit that I would be extremely lost without, and especially in the Goldfields of Victoria, is the mighty stealth spade. I have dug me many a ton of holes with this thing, and it is great. A lot of people ask about it. I made it myself. It's out of a cast steel spade, and I've done it this shape. With such a narrow entry point, you have less friction and resistance, and because we have a lot of stones and quartz and all sorts of bloody stuff in the ground, this can get in amongst it. You can feel it, you can feel the edge, you can go down. It's not like you're using a big shovel or anything like that to dig with. It's not particularly good out in a nice soft paddock, but for all the trashy sites, all the hard rocky areas, this is great. I do love me my stealth spade. The next thing you need is a fines container. Now, I've got the Garrett one. Minelab don't produce one. This one I just find to be absolutely brilliant. Like a little tackle box, suits my purpose as well. This side's a bit deeper. It's got a bit of paddy stuff there. I think they're actually a really good fines box myself. So that's what I use. That all goes in this pouch. Now that's one pouch that I use. I've told you about the second pouch. I will use that in park conditions, and I'm still going to come back to that as to why that is such a great pouch. The next bag I have is just a little haversacky shoulder canvasy bag thing. This has another piece of safety gear which you should have out in the bush, and that is your snake bite kit. If you are bitten, there's 2 bandages in there, there's a space blanket, there's a texter, there's how to apply it all. As soon as you're bit, just make sure you're safe, stop everything, sit down, apply one of these. So that goes in there. I will also have water bottles in there, or a shorter water bottle. And the reason I've chosen this bag is because when I have the DJI thingo on the end of my phone, I can just keep slipping the phone in there without disconnecting it all the time. It'll just sit in there safely. If I want it, just reach around, grab it, there it is. So that's that bag. They're the things that I use. Now, let's get back to this bag. The other thing now, if you go through all this series that Gadsy has put out there into the YouTube community, Chris from Vogus Prospecting mentioned about the gaining of knowledge. I'm going to put out there that you actually have to have the right mindset. And this is where this particular bag comes into its own. I take this out with me when I'm in a park. Now, if you're ever out detecting in a park, you know how many pull rings you find and bottle tops. And after a while, if you are just putting them in your pockets, you'll do it for 5 times and then you go, oh, that 14 signal or that bloody 25 or whatever numbers you're looking at in whatever detector you're using. You go, oh, another pull tab, another bottle top, and you leave it. And potentially you're walking away from a gold ring. So if you have the mindset, and you have to do this with your gold as well, that I am going to dig everything, if you don't have somewhere to put your rubbish, it makes it really hard. But with this bag, you just plonk your rubbish in there. So you'll just keep digging pull tabs if that's the way the day's going. But if there is a gold ring in amongst all those pull tabs and you're digging everything, that's going to be yours. So peace, or getting your mindset right, is really, really important. Same with the shoddy pellets. You got a 6,000, you are going to dig more shoddy pellets than anyone else. But you have to dig them. You have to have somewhere to store them. And that's why, listen to that. It's full of bloody shoddy pellets and 22s. But these are all signals that potentially could have been gold that no one else has got. Mindset plays a hell of a big part in the detecting hobby that we do. So that's all the gear that the Coffee Bush Kid channel uses, both Viv and myself. I hope you've enjoyed looking at that. Now the next important thing is though, I have to pass the baton on. And I am passing it to young Ant from Victorian Gold Hunters. Go over to their channel, but Ant, it's your turn, mate. Show everyone what you've got. Well, of your gear and stuff anyway. Anyway, keep in mind, it's always good to fill in some of your day detecting, but remember to fill in all your holes when you're finished. I'll catch you next time.